Darren asks, thanks for all you do. What is the one thing you do not prefer cooked sous vide versus conventional cooking? So I think that's a good, very good question. We get in this kind of echo chamber of using sous vide for stuff. And I feel like there's two groups kind of. There's the people that think sous vide is completely overrated and can't do anything with it that you can't do with traditional cooking. And then there's people that think that you should use sous vide for everything. And the extreme of that is the, once or twice a year joke post about my popcorns going in the sous vide machine. Not everything is better in sous vide. Despite making a living off of writing and talking about sous vide, I really feel that sous vide it's a tool. And depending what you're trying to do, it might be the best tool. If you want to make short ribs that have the texture of steak, then yeah, you should use sous vide because it's going to be really hard to cook short ribs for 72 hours without having an immersion circulator. You can do it in other methods, but it's going to be a pain in the butt. If you're trying to cook a ribeye, then maybe doing it on the grill is the best way. Ribeyes aren't my favorite sous vide steak. I love sous vide strip steak and sous vide sirloin, and the only way I'm eating a chuck steak is with sous vide. But ribeye, sometimes I love just throwing it on the grill, getting that nice char on it, and enjoying it that way. But the one thing that I think is a lot of people are disappointed cooking fish with sous vide. And I think that's because there's several types of fish, but two of the main ones are more poached like fish, and there's more like grilled or pan fried fish. And so I always picture back in Boy Scouts when they would cook rainbow trout. They'd catch them, clean them, and then they'd throw them on the grill, and it'd be nice crusty skin on one side and a few little grill marks on the top, and that's all that would go into it. It was amazing and really flavorful. And to try to replicate that with sous vide is almost impossible. You're talking about something that's, half inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch thick, and only needs to be grilled for 2 minutes per side to start with to bring that temperature up. So trying to replicate the type of fish that's seared and has a crusty outside and a more rawish inside, or is just thin enough that it cooks all the way through by the time you get the sear, it's really hard to do with sous vide. And so I never tend to do that. But there's a lot of poached fish, and you can make a lot of flavorful poaching liquids that you can cook fish in. You can poach them in butter, you can steam them, all these different methods of these lower temperature cooking that works really good with fish. And I think sous vide makes that type of fish really, really good. I have a few recipes on the blog talking about cooking them low temperature and then serving it as part of a dish. And I think that's a way that, sous vide is really good for fish if you're trying to do that preparation. If you want the more pan-fried or grilled fish, then cooking it sous vide isn't the best way to go. So that's kind of my thoughts on what I prefer not to do. There's a lot that I don't use sous vide for, but that's one of the striking ones I think a lot of people really run into issues with.